This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing the episode of ECW from June the 13th, 1995. Nate Maxson, your host, here with you, of course, with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Mr. Chad Austin.
Did you say discussing or disgusting?
We are disgusting this episode. Mr. Freshly Vacationed Chad Austin is here with us.
Oh yeah, I'm totally revamped, revitalized, ready to not go to work tomorrow. Ready to watch this show again and see if it gets any better the second time.
Talk about work. I don't know if it was all bad, but it was there. Again, like I said, this week, June 13th, 95. We start, of course.
Oh, you said it was June 13th, 1995?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, never mind. I'll pretend like that's the one that I watched.
All right.
No, I actually had it. I wrote it down and I put like a big circle around it because I think I asked Nate like 4 times. Like what's the episode that we're watching? So I made sure when I wrote it down because when you click on your phone you could watch anything,
Yeah.
I was getting ready to tell you about how Tully Blanchard was getting ready to defend the Southwest Championship against Bob Sweetan at the Hemisphere Arena. But yeah, great show. I think.
Sweetan. Oof. And Aaron's favorite show starts this week's show of ECW. It's Recap Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
We have a long video, probably about 4.5, 5 minutes of all the footage of everything that's gone down between Cactus Jack, Shane Douglas, and Sandman for the ECW Championship over the past 4 weeks. So we've already talked about that, so we don't need to talk about it again.
I think we need to start talking about Paul's love affair with Shane Douglas at some point. Isn't it starting to get out of control? It's always Shane Douglas. I know you can always he uses Cactus for the male, the male thing. We're gonna show Cactus being off, bam bam bam. And all of a sudden, the music changes. It's Shane. It's like is he in love with Shane or something?
Well, I was gonna say, and Shane, how many times did Shane leave and come back, and Paulie just welcomed him back with it?
It was a bad breakup, right?
And what I was gonna say, it's like Paul Heyman or Shane Douglas is to Paul Heyman as Shawn Michaels is to Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
for some reason.
He can just constantly leave and come back. I hate what's going on here. Well, you're gay. No, you're gay. Okay, I'm leaving. We're both gay.
Let's just accept it.
Yeah, but this is stupid.
They discuss the fact that essentially what this is all leading up to is coming up in the next on the next show at the ECW Arena. It's going to be the Sandman against Cactus Jack in a barbed wire match. And then we get a great, of course, Cactus Jack promo discussing the upcoming barbed wire match. And what my favorite line in the promo was he said, usually it's man against man, but in a barbed wire match, it's man against thing. And I thought that was a cool
man against thing.
Man against thing.
That's because it was the barbed wire.
Yes.
Yeah. And the fact that he doesn't need 16 beers to get hyped up and careless. He just is naturally like that and shit like that. This is a good promo.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I can disagree. Maybe, it'd be a different story if it was we were going to Texas Roadhouse death match with my wife. Then I would have to have 16 beers.
That's what we're gonna call. That's what we're gonna call Adam Page and Dean Ambrose or John Moxley. It's the Texas Roadhouse death match.
Yeah, I have to have 16 beers before I go. I don't. Just before I go there. Dude, listen to this nonsense. This place that we went to this morning for breakfast. I ordered eggs and bacon. Eggs, bacon. That's what I asked for. That's all I want. Eggs, bacon.
Simple enough.
Yeah, and then throw me an extra side of sausage links. Why don't you? $60 fucking dollars.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Mine was 30, and the sausage links were $7.50 for 2 of them. Like, dude, I could have. It looked like they still have my wife's stockings on them.
I was gonna say, but they were probably just frozen Jimmy Dean's.
No, if they were Jimmy Dean's, I would have been more impressed. These were actually they tried. I'm not gonna lie, they tried to make some decent sausage links, but they left them in the casings. It's like you know how unattractive it looks like when they come hanging out of the casing kind of thing. You know,
I don't want my sausage links uncircumcised.
Yeah, I mean that's what they look like. The person was carrying them like by the end.
Is that a rubber?
Yeah, that's how they were carrying them. Like by the ends, like they were getting ready to toss them at the next trash can that they came across. I'm like,
there's a common dog.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm not practicing safe sausage.
It's like I actually want the juices.
Yeah, but it was terrible. Whatever the name of that place was, I don't know. Oh, Bayside Skillet. That's what it is. It was called the Bayside Skillet. They can go fuck themselves. My wife gave them like $20 tips and shit. I gave them a whole bunch of other tips, but I wrote it on a different sheet of paper. Like, you clean the tables off before you serve people. Take the sausage skins off.
Shed your sausage before you serve it.
Yeah, I didn't ask for hot dogs.
You goddamn Vikings.
Yeah, what's the matter with you guys? Anyway, we're talking about wrestling, I thought.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I like this Jack promo. He ends it by putting during the promo, he's holding barbed wire shaped like a crown. And of course, for dramatic effect, at the end of the promo, he puts the crown on his head, just putting over the fact that he is going to be having this match with the Sandman coming up on Saturday at the ECW Arena. Then we get Joey with an intro to the show, and he talks about how our main event tonight is going to be the dog collar match, the double dog collar match between the Pitbulls and the Public Enemy for the Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, I have none of this on my notes at all. I must have totally watched a different show.
We'll get you through it. We'll get you through it.
He also Good, sorry.
Yeah, but the best part is, Nate, is that in order clearly I watched the wrong show, but you said it's the Pitbulls and the Public Enemy. Oh yeah, I'll just pick up where we left off last week.
Right,
the Pitbulls and the Public Enemy. You don't say.
Same old story, same old song.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's
also coming up on this June 17th show is the Public Enemy versus Axel Rotten and a partner of his choosing. The Pitbulls and Raven versus Dreamer, Scorpio, and Taz. Luna Vachon versus Beulah. And then Joey says that the rumors aren't true because Chris Benoit is going to be in action. I'm assuming this is when everybody thought he was going to be going to the WWF. And then obviously the main event. And the reason I'm bringing those up is that's the next 3 weeks of our shows is going to be the recap, like showing us highlights of this card that's coming up on Saturday. So.
Yes, and you are right about
you are going to be the next 3 weeks of shows.
You are right about the Benoit thing too, because he had just got done working 2 TV tapings for the WWF, where actually Ted DiBiase was his manager at the tapings, but he winds up not signing with them at this time and remaining.
DiBiase was his manager.
Yeah, they actually had DiBiase come out with Benoit for two shows.
Was there anything? I don't know. Was there anything to it? Like, was there something behind it?
I'm thinking that they were thinking about hiring him and having him be a part of the corporation, but I don't know. I don't know where it fell apart. But
I think he was. If it could be wrong, but I think he was the original guy they thought of for that shit they put on Steve when Steve
for Virgil. Chris Benoit was the original Virgil. No wonder. Yeah, he passed. Oh, so you think he was going to be the $1 million guy?
Yeah. That's what I've always
All right,
heard.
well, I mean-
They thought about putting the belt on the $1 million belt on him, and they just once they got up there, that they just didn't click.
Yeah, I mean, can you not see that? I mean, I'd buy it, right?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, if you're gonna and Austin wound up being a fine choice too, but if you have DiBiase, let's be honest, he was bell to bell probably the best wrestler in the WWF in the 80s and early 90s. So if he's gonna pass the torch to somebody, he might as well pass it to the next best wrestler, you know.
And the best part is that you're talking about a company that doesn't even fucking doesn't even put emphasis on in-ring work. You know what I mean? And you're talking about DiBiase, the best wrestler probably you have in that building. You know, you can look around. I mean, Gorilla Monsoon, no. Arnold Skolin, not going to cut it. Ted DiBiase is probably the best wrestler you have in this fucking building right now. Yeah. But it's to me, it's just they never ever focused on that shit, man. And I watched a couple of Ted DiBiase matches just the other day, and it's like, dude, this guy is fucking, this guy was gold, man.
Mm-hmm.
Really, he was golden. Who was smoother than him?
Very few
you can
people.
say Scorpio, but he's black. It's he's going to be smoother than him anyway.
Well, I mean, just to put it in perspective. Honest to God, one of the best things, and I'm just talking about WWF in the 90s, early 90s. But honest to God, one of the best things you'll see is the last 5 minutes of the Survivor Series match. I think it's in 90 because I think it's the match that Undertaker debuts in. The last 5 minutes is DiBiase and Bret Hart, and it's literally one of the best wrestling matches you'll see, just between those two for 5 minutes.
And it's not even a
match. Yeah, it's at the end of a survival match.
Yeah, it's just like the 4 or 5 minutes that they're in the ring together, for some angle thing or whatever. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, if I was Bret, every single night I walked into the building, and if I saw my name next to fucking Ted DiBiase, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll take that shit." Because then if I was still having fun, in the wrestling business, and enjoying what I was doing, I might go "Hey man, do you want to do something different tonight?"
Right?
Especially if it was a building say Sam Houston Coliseum, you know what I mean, something like that, a building they had been into when they were kids. Let's go out there and do something special, man. And DiBiase could do it, right?
Yep.
I mean, if he wanted to, but we're talking about what that time frame. He's probably already all, I don't know, bad backed, pilled up. You want to get these guys on the show? They're walking down the street.
They're cutting their own promo over there.
I don't know what they're talking about. Guy's trying to find a yo-yo, I think he said. Whatever. All right. Anyway, Ted DiBiase.
we go from this discussion of the show coming up Saturday to Joey Styles with Paulie Dangerously, a more extensive promo on the changing of Taz from the Tasmaniac into the just Taz character. Lots of pop culture references, of course, from Paulie in this one.
He compares them to. He says that Taz has a lot of courage for coming out like he did and saying that he's a normal man and this could have derailed his career, but it's going to make it better. And he compares him to Mickey Mantle, Michael Jordan, John Wayne Bobbitt, and Michael Jackson.
What a crew.
Yeah, I think I told my wife, she was but she wasn't paying attention, but I think she was walking in between the rooms, and I was like, dude, Paul just named every relevant, phrase from that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were in the news. If they John Wayne Bobbitt, yeah.
Yeah, he just did all that nonsense. Just, I mean, I don't know. That was just for the sake of doing it. But I mean, don't get me wrong. When you go back and watch it, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's cool to hear the pop culture references from that time and think about what
1995. You're thinking like John Wayne Bobbitt. When's the last time his name's ever been mentioned?
I thought his dick got cut off in like 93.
Oh, he was still relevant in 95. Isn't that when he made his porno when they kind of put it back on with a zipper?
Detachable penis.
Detachable penis.
I never ever saw anybody with a penis that had a zipper on it.
It's the weirdest
You can put a
song.
stash in it.
What's that?
Detachable penis?
Detachable penis is the weirdest song ever.
It's King Missile, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not fucking. I know my music. Come on, Brian Last.
Detachable penis came out at the same time as My Name is Mud.
Did it?
Primus, yeah, I think so. I think they were around the same time.
My name
at least in my brain, they were around the same time.
Yeah, I think My Name is Mud came out in like late 94, early 95. I think so. I was like EP Primus. Yeah, don't get me started on this nonsense. We'll start a whole other podcast on fucking music of the stupid shit that I know.
Well, we don't have much meat on the bone with this ECW thing anyway, so whatever you have to say.
That's why I said fire.
If you'd like to take this time to sing your favorite song.
That's exactly around the time frame when I was working for a radio station. So like an alternative radio station. So yeah, I kind of know detachable penis. I think I'm the one that kind of like randomly threw that in there in the shuffle. Like the program director had no idea. The program directors don't know anything anyway. I'm the program director. Basically, there's a guy above me, and all I'll do is write down a list of 10 songs. I think it should be played the next hour. I go, detachable penis.
Hey, I touch tunes that shit at the bars and stuff here.
Yeah, but that's a joke. I did it over the air. We were the 11th biggest market in the country. Here I am. I'm politicking for detachable penis. Coming back from break. King Missile. Oh, seriously.
Well, after the Paul E promo, we go into our main event for the show, which
already
it'd be the main event if it's only one match.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Aaron. How can it be the main event if it's only one match?
I don't even have a match.
This week,
all I have is promos.
This week we don't have a hat on a hat. We just don't even have a hat. There's not even a hat. But it is Public Enemy and the Pitbulls in a double dog collar match for the tag team titles. Stevie Richards is along with the Pitbulls, and if Public Enemy wins, they supposedly are going to get 5 minutes alone with Richards. Todd Gordon comes out of the top to remind us.
What are they going to do with Steve Richards for 5 minutes? That's what I want to know. Yeah, I mean, seriously, think about it. You get 5 minutes alone with the guy. What are you going to do with him? Of course, you're going to put stuff in his butt.
Yeah, he's got that long hair and those booty shorts.
Yeah, you're going to put a fucking kazoo up his butt. I mean, anything that's in the hotel room, you're just going to keep putting stuff in his butt, right?
I mean, Anthony's been inside, so he knows what happened.
And then, why don't they change the name of the match? The winner gets 5 minutes to put stuff in people's butt, in the other guy's butts. How do you advertise that?
Well, because then Jim Barnett would try to book himself in it every time.
I don't know.
Come on down Saturday night for the butt stuff brawl.
There you go. The butt stuff brawl.
Stampede.
The butt stampede. There you go.
The butt stuff stampede.
Why don't you just book that one right there?
Not a bronze boot.
It's like when you watch I like to hurt people. No, Nyla Rose's hole. My hole. Somebody stuck a shoe in my hole. Why don't you book that like they did I like to hurt people when the guy says, if you could tell me on any given night that there's going to be blood, blah, 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 you would have this arena filled. If you would go around advertising that somebody's going to get a shoe stuck in their butt. Okay. Where do I get these tickets from? What do you call it? The butt. What is it?
The butt stuff stampede.
Yes. Dusty Rhodes, make a motion pictures, baby. Man, I don't think that's what Dusty had in mind when he's talking about making motion pictures. TV sitcoms. No, the butt stampede. You're not putting that on 30 minutes a week.
The trophy's like a big O-ring, like that thing they get in AEW to win a title shot.
Oh, the thing that's gonna save Will Hobbs from drowning?
Yeah.
Yeah. How I didn't even want to be the first person to even make that joke about a black person that has got he got a life preserver. Like, because I don't know where you guys are from, but where I'm from, a lot of black people can't swim, and they gave him a life preserver.
We just don't have a lot of black people.
I know. That's why you look all shocked.
You know, where we grew up, there's a lot of black people, but here, nah. They don't like fields and stuff. Like,
brings back old memories.
A bunch of fields and white people, they're like, nah.
or the cold. I remember one time in school when I got my first car, one of my best buddies is a black guy, and I come to his house with my car, and I'm like, you want to come check the car out? And he's like just standing at his doorway, and he's like, no, it's cold. I don't want to come look at your car. I can look at it from here. It's cold. I don't want to go out in the cold if I don't have to.
That's a car, all right.
Yeah, looks like a car from here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want to get any closer? No. That's a car.
This is exactly what you would expect from this double dog collar match. Actually, this double dog collar match is more. I mean, I don't know what you thought, Aaron. This match was more Pitbull 2 versus Rocco Rock. I mean,
they chained the right people together.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna chain Johnny and Gary together because they're the lesser of either side. Let's go ahead and chain the two guys that are good together and focus on them. And that's what they did. And Pitbull 2 and Rocco actually do a really good job during this match, both of them, I think.
Yeah, this was like another one of them things where I can sit there and look at it and say and see and tell my wife when I was watching it, probably on the way home, that I bet you that was me and Raven. Like booking that match. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more I watched it, I was like, that's me and Raven, like, putting this match together. Because, yeah, why wouldn't you? Of course you would. You put the emphasis on the two guys that, Gary's awful. Johnny Grunge is awful. And then you put the other one with Rocco, whatever, and he'll do something stupid. And Anthony will do something stupid.
Yeah.
Throw them two fucking tards together.
And the ECW,
it was
I'm sorry, Aaron.
I'm just saying, like, when they took a commercial break before the match, and when they came back, it was funny though, because Public Enemy was like dancing, and the crowd chanting, "Hey champ, hey champ," while they were dancing was actually kind of funny. I thought.
Oh, I didn't hear that come across on my audio. That's what they were chanting.
Yeah.
Cause is that what they were doing that promo, like in New York, whatever? Hey champ, you the champ.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Whatever. ECW was still better than what was going on in the business.
Rocco and Pitbull do, they do a spot where they're doing, like, one of them is up on, I think it's Rocco's up on the Eagle's Nest, and they're playing a tug of war where Pitbull brings Rocco down through a table. And then, every once in a while they flash to Gary Wolf and Johnny Grunge, and one of them is just cracking the other one over the head with a frying pan, but they're just standing there. Like I said, Rocco and Pitbull 2 were the workhorses in this match, if you want to use that expression.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, you could only go to camera 2 so many times where there's Gary just smashing some guy over the head with some, because you could buy them frying pans right there on the corner of a Swanson and Ritter for like $2, like $1 and some change or whatever, and they were the kind like you said, like as soon as you hit them, that thing, the handle falls off.
Yeah, it comes apart. Yeah,
they did. I mean that
ECW kept that place and company for a while, just selling tchotchkes, garbage and stuff. Like, why did they just realize what they were doing and just buy stuff that fans could buy for ECW shows?
Right.
Like the ECW fan store.
It's the wall of
Come in
cheese
and get your
graters.
tchotchkes.
Yes.
Yeah, cheese graters, frying pans, accordions.
Street signs. Yeah.
I don't know about street signs. That's kind of a felony, isn't it? You can't steal street signs.
Well, I guess I should say street signs. I should say, like, I don't know, house, like, do not enter, et cetera, et cetera. The street signs is right. You're right. It is a felony.
Yeah,
I'm not encouraging crime here, ladies and gentlemen.
You got the Department of Transportation. It's all they're shopping through your store, and they're like, "This detour sign. This should have been on exit." You know what I mean? What is this doing here?
Aaron, any other notes on the match before we do the finish?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, Anthony bleeds like a motherfucker. They brought all over the building. One of the best things, like, I liked when the superplex through the table, like off of the Eagles' nest, looked really, like, they looked fucking awesome, I thought. And I just thought I liked them. I liked this. It was refreshing to see a new match, for one, and two, I enjoyed it, and that's all I gotta say, really.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of shit about me,
Yeah,
Right.
I liked it more than I thought I would going into it, and the reason is, like we stated, they put the right guys chained to each other to get the maximum amount of good work.
And then they do a dusty finish, and that's that.
Yeah, there's a double pin. It appears that Pitbulls win, but the match is actually awarded to the Public Enemy.
Could this have been a match? Could this have been like one of the matches that Paul said that, like, Anthony's the guy? You know
possibly,
what I mean? Yeah. Because I mean, I know we're going to get to sooner or later, the double dog collar match with Raven and Richards. But it's going to be one. Like, is this the one where he's like, you know what, this guy's something else right here? Gary always was, I mean, in my experience, was always a little more to deal with than Anthony was. Anthony was like, all right, you want me to just jump off the top of the building into this fucking cup with a wet napkin? Okay. Whatever. You know what I mean? But Gary was always a little more difficult. Like, I don't know about all this. And Anthony's like, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, you can shoot me. That's fine. Just not in the face. Like that could be like because what, we're only a few months away, right? Not even a year away.
Oh yeah, I think we're very close to Francine show. That's not.
Well, I don't
too
know what
far
Francine had to do with the breakup of them, or was Francine put there to do the breakup of them? I mean, I'm asking. I don't know.
See, I got the time mixed up in my head. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Talking about when Raven and the Pitbull split up?
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, Francine is part of that. And then, yeah.
And then what?
Well, I'm just saying, like, the Pitbulls never really split up, but Gary just got hurt and kind of derailed it a little bit. But
whatever, the Halo gimmick.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get there.
It's hilarious.
It's one of the funniest things ever.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, when we get there, you've never seen, I don't know, 15, 20 people, 25 people, like, cringe, like, in the locker room, like, staring at a little tiny, like, 9-inch monitor of the show, going, what? and most of the people were lining up to go out to help him because they thought, oh, come on. The guy's got it. He's in the locker room walking around introducing himself as fucking Johnny Halo and shit. And then you're just like, oh, that's pretty fucked up, man. You had to go through, security, customs, airports. I mean, wearing that fucking. It looks like a old woman's walker. Yeah, on his head. And that's what it looked like. Dude. How huge was that thing that was on his fucking head? And he can't turn his head left, can't turn whatever. And then when Shane grabbed it, you just hear he'll go, oh, like that's one of them gasps that you can just totally hear, just. Oh. He's shaking it left and right like he's trying to fit his key into this car. You know what I mean? He's fidgeting around with it, like.
It also looked like something that we should have figured out a better thing to use by 1996.
Yeah.
Like that looked like some shit they put on you in like 1919.
It was like an architect had to make that thing. You had to go to school to build that structure that was on Gary Wolf's neck.
It's like the first thing the doctor tried to do to help him was put leeches on him, and they're like, "Well, that's not going to work." So let's connect this. Let's put this scaffolding on your shoulders.
The Statue of Liberty had better fucking architecture.
We tried leeches. We tried cocaine.
Only thing that worked was the cocaine, so he could put the fucking Statue of Liberty on his neck.
give me your tired, huddled masses and Gary Wolf.
Yeah, like your what is it? Give me the whole line. I love the whole entire line of that. Of that New York thing. The weak, the sick, the poor. Like, we'll just take everybody. And look what you got.
You got polio? Come on in.
We got the weak, the sick, the poor.
Everybody.
We got Jason.
We'll take those. We'll take those with shingles.
Jason, Paul Loria.
You got rickets. I don't even know what they are. I just know I don't want to fucking have it. You got rickets. I think I'm going to tell my work tomorrow that.
I got rickets.
Yeah, I got to call in today. What are you, sick? No, I got rickets.
It's really uncomfortable, man.
Rickets sounds like it's a building, like a building thing. It's going to rebuild my spine or something. Like it's taking over. It's like Legos. Why ain't Legos a disease? I got Legos.
Well, the Pitbulls and Richards attack the public enemy here. Richards is supposed to be, as we talked about the butt stuff for 5 minutes, but at some point he's like, as a weapon, he's holding a toy dinosaur. I did put that down on my notes. Eventually, Todd Gordon comes out and tells the Pitbulls to pack it in and get out of there so that the Pitbulls can have their 5 minutes. However, they still
I'm just curious as how long that spot with Todd Gordon took to happen. How many times did Todd go back over to Paul? So what do I say? But like what do I do? and
the only rules are there's no rules.
Yeah, Paul's just done on that, and he gets ready to walk out and runs right back. So what you want me to do is what? And then just go out there and say there's no fucking rules. Like in the whole locker room at that point yells, "There's no rules." Go out there.
You have one job.
Oh, he had 2 jobs. The other one was to sign the checks. Because there's no chance that Paul was going to sign. There's no chance that was Paul's going to be a part of any of that nonsense. Signing checks. If I would have got a check signed by Paul Heyman, I would have not cashed it and just
frame it. Just frame it.
Yeah. Just because I was like, yes.
More not cashed than it would be cashed.
Yeah. Paul Heyman had $175 in his bank account in 1975. Or we think. He had enough money to write a check. I mean, sure.
Well, the Pitbulls don't get their whole 5 minutes with Stevie Richards as Raven comes out to make the save. The Pitbulls come back out. A series of super kicks by Stevie Richards on Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock, while the Pitbulls obviously are holding them up. And then Tommy Dreamer, for God's sake, Tommy Dreamer comes out to fight Raven again this week.
Tommy Dreamer, God's police.
Well, put upon Tommy.
I mean, like I love the TV show like Live PD. You know what I mean? Where they just show like the cops like in your area, and or like even your area, just in any area, just live like while they're going. And there's Tommy Dreamer, like he's doing ride-alongs. It's just he gets out of the stupid car with his cane. I mean the Singapore cane, not the one day knees orthopedically. Yeah, but I'm just like, enough with this Dreamer business. And do we have to tell you, nobody watches Impact, Dreamer? Like your cross promotions with all these other shows aren't working. Nobody watches Impact Wrestling. I even have the capability of watching Impact Wrestling, and I don't watch it. And I watch everything. I'm not doing it. I gotta enter passwords. I gotta go to certain apps. Like seriously, I can't just click on a channel and watch.
In the past 5 years, I have watched more OVW, and I mean new OVW, than I have Impact. So I can totally agree with that. Impact is not on my radar ever.
It's impossible to be on your radar. Like I have to go outside and I gotta kick this big ass thing in my front yard as a satellite. I gotta spin it in the right direction. You know what I mean? And I gotta go inside, hit Galaxy 4, and wait for it to spin. That kind of crap. I'm like, dude, fuck all of this, dude. I'll just wait for some fucking Rube to send me the month worth for $10. I'll just get the month for like $10. Tommy Dreamer.
Well, he's out here fighting with Raven. Stevie Richards hits Tommy with a chair and lays him out. Tommy winds up fighting back against them. Then the cool part happens because Luna comes out and beats up Stevie Richards, and that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before on the show. Luna just always was just like the coolest thing to have around on all the shows, and then you just knew that you kind of just sit back and laugh when you look at the run sheet and you see, oh, it's going to be Luna and Stevie, and just go like, oh man. You know what I mean? Oh man, poor Stevie.
She's like, look, Stevie, she's a better wrestler. She has a better look. She has a better mullet. Luna is superior to you, Stevie.
Who has the better hair? Like they have the same haircut. They both
but Luna. But Luna was so worth taking the beating for. You know what I mean? Like even as much as I don't like Stevie. Like if I was Stevie and I would have walked into the locker room and seen the run sheet, I just lost my shoe like I was Terry Funk. If I just walked into the room and saw the run sheet and saw that I had something to do with Luna, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm doing something with Luna. But I knew it would have sucked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wasn't gonna be the easy. It wasn't like working with Moolah or May or anything like that. But yeah, I would have been like, oh shit, yeah, I get to work with fucking Luna. Yeah, I always liked Luna and like I don't know. I don't know if it was the same for her as it was for me, but we always seemed to like when we did see each other, we always had some sort of a bond.
Mm-hmm.
Like on old wrestling.
Right.
Like kind of thing.
And she's I mean, like we said, we beat it to death on the show, and that's fine. But she's one of the best, and definitely doesn't get enough credit at all. She does not get talked about when people are talking about great, especially female performers. She's right up there with Sherry and Woman.
I remember a time. Not only did were we talking about her being like the best women's wrestler or whatever.
Mhm.
I remember a time where there was Raven saying that she was probably the best wrestler, like of that year. Was it 95? That's what we're on, right?
Yeah, 95.
It was Raven saying that he thought that she was probably the best wrestler of that year because she was doing work in Canada. What was that company in Japan? I mean, it wasn't Stardom at the time, so it was like some other, random. You know what I mean?
It wasn't. It was by that point. It wasn't still All Japan Women, was it?
It probably was All Japan Women's, but I don't think it was the company that she worked for was All Japan Women's.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was just some random company that was just bringing broads over. And she was and she was headlining in Vancouver, in Canada and shit. Like she was working everywhere, and that was 95.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was over at 95, man.
Well, to end this out, we get, of course, Dreamer doing the Beulah pile driver spot again, which we've already seen, I think, twice. And then we get Public Enemy leaving the building with their tag team titles, and they notice graffiti on the walls around them. The letters are TPE, TOS, so we know TOS stands for Terminate on Sight. And this is foreboding for Public Enemy. Of course, I think this means we're...
Yeah.
Aaron said, yeah.
He's like LA Knight. It's like LA Knight, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like LA Knight, like saying, yeah. It was Aaron going, yeah.
That is what it means. But I actually think this is cool. It's like they're starting to actually build angles and tell stories and shit like that, and not just have matches. And, you know what I mean? Like it's actually starting to become a somewhat of a wrestling program, and not just
because you have a natural born story right there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you have to go there. You have to go there. So yeah, that was great. Just oh man, the fucking black guys are coming.
Just saying,
yeah.
Yeah. Like a collective soul song.
Yeah. That's the best thing. That's the album I'm going to hear all week. Just Aaron just going, yeah.
Overall, this episode of ECW wasn't great, but I did enjoy the dog collar match. And there is some cool stuff coming up. And like Aaron said, they're starting to, and we've said this before, but they're starting to build towards some things here. And hopefully we're moving into some new, fresher storylines and programs. I mean, Shane Douglas is almost on his way out, so he'll be out of the picture here shortly. And
he'll be back in a couple months. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't get all excited, Archie. He's coming back. I think the locker room, I think we even had a ticker tape parade in the locker room when Shane was leaving. Because we used to have them stupid meetings and all that shit. And Paul would just fill everybody's fucking head with, oh, this is what's going on. And all of a sudden Shane would go, yeah, but. And we're like, oh. Now Shane's talking. We ain't got no money. My check bounced. Oh. Jeez, then you start to see people just their backs turn and walking away, from the back of the line, like, oh, Shane doing.
Here's Shane with his go away heat.
It literally was go away heat, but it was us that went away.
Yeah, it was
went away heat.
It was reverse go away heat.
Yeah, it was one away heat. We all just went away when Shane would start talking. Yeah, no, whatever.
So what did you guys wrestling heat?
What did you guys overall think of this episode?
Based on the match, and like I said, I liked the little angle at the end with the foreshadowing of the gangsters showing up. I actually enjoyed this show. I'd give it a C.
solid C, right?
Yeah.
Like, with the promise that you can talk to their parents and say that they can do better than that. But it was a good try, But just because your kid's special doesn't mean he can't execute.
give you alley oop on that one.
Yeah, like I'll give you a solid C. It was a good attempt, and let's see how this next couple of weeks go. How this gangster stuff. The gangsters, they don't just come back the following week, right?
No, I think it's a little bit.
Oh, so they are going to do it the right way then. They booked it to where that they just kept hinting towards the gangsters.
Yeah, because I think at this point they're still finishing up in Smoky Mountain, I believe. So it's going to be at least a few more, like maybe one or two, or at least one more ECW arena show before they show. My question to you guys now is, just I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so. Do we want to play another game of fun with promos here?
I don't know. Do you have a song from Einar? Could you play one of his songs?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I was taking a shower today, and I somehow rabbit holed Einar songs, and all I wanted to do all day long was walk around look like Danhausen and just sing Einar songs. I don't know what was going on today. But what do you got? What are our options?
We're just gonna get back into this playlist of terrible wrestling promos. Oh, look, the first one that came up here. CZW, Zandig is crazy. I hate him.
He said, I hate him.
With Zandig. Oh my God, what the fuck just happened? What do you mean what happened? What are you, blind? Jesus! There was 5 of them! It took 5 of them! Justice Pain! Hate Club! Hate Club's dead! Nick Gage! Nate Hatred! Who do you think you are? Nobody does this to Zandig! Nobody does this to White Beater! Zandig, White Beater, Nick Mondo! We are the most ultra-violent force on the face of the earth! Oh my! Oh! Yo, you're gonna die! You are gonna die! I guarantee it!
Talking about bad from
I am gonna kill you!
Right on time.
You people have not seen anything! This is just the start of Fake UTV! I am the ultraviolet icon! This is Robbie Marino! This is CZW, the most violent federation on the face of the earth! You just wait and see how far we're gonna go! I'm out of here!
Robbie Marino. That's Robbie Marino.
I've never heard a wrestler introduce the interviewer before. Like it was like Hulk.
Was he drinking milk?
Yeah. They all them fucking boobs did that shit when they did all the fucking deathmatch nonsense. They all went back there and he just poured gallons of milk over him. I don't know what that's, because it builds bones and calcium or whatever. I don't know. But they all just apparently it helped ease the pain from all the stupid shit you just did.
Well, have you ever I don't know that you've ever worked with him. Have you ever worked with Zandig, Chad?
No chance. No. I've worked for him. I mean,
okay.
But there's no chance I was ever going to be put in a position where I was going to be in the same area.
Because you're a fucking professional.
Yeah, and I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not doing any of that. He's like, and don't forget, he's like, Christ. If I was going on 40 around that time, he was already in his mid 50s, like mid to late 50s. So he would have had to have been like 56, 57, like during that shit. Like, and this is when he's having like the whole all that deathmatch stuff where he was doing all that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, you're like 60 years old. Like, the fuck are you doing? What's the matter with you?
I don't generally because I'm not a worker. I don't generally criticize. Like, I mean, I think you as a fan you can critique, but I don't generally criticize wrestlers because I can't do what they do. But I could do what he does. So he's a fucking idiot. Like I could easily. There's no skill to somebody throwing me through light bulb tubes. I mean, where's the talent in that? I mean, so I can safely say, as a mark, I have no problem saying he's a fucking idiot because I could do what he does.
I've watched a bazillion matches of like I don't know who I'm just trying to think somebody like just say Generico. I watched him work a 50, 60, 70 matches where it was technical like masterpieces, and then I ended up watching him like do like a death match kind of thing, and he didn't have a clue. You know what I mean? He had no idea what he was doing out there. And I'm thinking like, well, there's an art to it, and then all of a sudden you see Ian Rotten, and you go, well, there's never really not an art to it. You know, like there. I mean, I bet you. I'm betting you right now that I can go out there tomorrow and work a match with some fucking ham-boned guy, Archie Mitchell or something, and do 20 minutes of a death match that would be more believable, more presentable, and make more sense than when you just watch this stuff when the guys just all of a sudden they just flip over the ring apron.
It's not a bad promo, but I want to watch the Dave Schultz one.
We're going to. That shouldn't
be on the list. That shouldn't be on the list.
I know, but we're going to. But I also want to delve into the ridiculousness of the Dungeon of Doom.
Okay.
So let's
like
watch
now.
This. Yes, right now.
Are you bringing this up now?
Let's watch this. It's only a couple of minutes. It's the Dungeon of Doom. The title is Dungeon of Doom, full segment, hilarious. And to be honest with you, it is hilarious because the fucking Dungeon of Doom stuff cracks me up.
Hurry, my son!
Oh,
Get
good
away from the stove! The real white Bengal tiger!
Is that Ed Asner?
Approaches! The bait has been set! Hurry! Hurry, my son!
My father, I smell his presence also.
I feel him!
This didn't really air, did it?
Yes.
Where am
There's
I?
no way.
It was on Saturday night.
There's no Hulkamaniacs here!
It's about to touch.
I've never been here before!
Don't touch the water.
Ah! It's not hot!
It's not hot.
What is this place?
This is catering.
It's so fucking stupid.
That's Hulk.
I know you! I know you too! You two are behind the demise of Hulkamania! I know about the Zodiac! I know about the dangerous Kamala! Oh yeah! I know about
I love how they play their little sound effects when he says their name.
But etched in stone is the legacy, the immortality of Hulkamania! And you too will be buried beneath it!
This
You
is
don't understand, Hogan. This is where darkness dwells and lives. Nobody has ever been able to defeat the immortal Hulk Hogan, except
Oh, Kamala
yourself.
beat him.
You see, Hogan, you're
Andre
the
beat
one
him.
that
Backward
created
beat him.
me. And because of that, it's this simple. Your demise is etched in stone.
They blew him up.
It's the fastest Kevin Sullivan's ever moved.
They blew him up. What's he saying? That shit that
My
Inoki
power
says?
is 1,000,000 times greater than the power of Hulkamania. I am the greatest giant to ever walk the face of the earth.
Good Lord.
And I am the one true immortal.
They're laughing for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, because that was rotten, wretched, and repulsive.
It was awful. And all of that stuff, Sullivan says he did all of that shit just
a what?
He keep Hogan happy. He knew it was fucking terrible. It was just it was his job to keep Hogan happy, and that was the thing,
I sat around with and you would kick me when I tell you this. I sat around with Kevin Sullivan and we talked more about this bad stuff than we did like Georgia. Right. You know what I mean? like I kick myself by not asking more questions about Florida or Georgia. Just like what are you doing? And every time he would start telling me stuff, it would always be like, it's just that it's what they want. Like they want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, who the fuck are these they? And why do they want this stuff? It's wretched. It's really bad. It's bad, like it's almost sabotage. You know what I mean? Bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's really awful. There's an even worse one when they turn Vader babyface and he shows up in the Dungeon of Doom and he's in his tights. And oh god, it's just so awful. It's so bad.
This is when they're doing the Universal Studios stuff, right?
Yes. But
that's where they're taking.
Yeah, it got to the point where it was almost like you just accepted as a fan that the Dungeon of Doom is somewhere at Universal Studios, and they're all just going there to see King Curtis Ayakea.
They paid like the $200 like weekend pass. They have the next thing they ought to do is they ought to show them with the wristband on. They're in the park and they can just walk around and do whatever.
Get your picture made with King Curtis,
dude. But King Curtis Iokea, man, is a legitimate huge name.
Yeah, and what a voice! Like, okay, so this Dungeon of Doom stuff is fucking awful. But if you were gonna pick a guy with a voice to be like Sullivan, my son, that's the guy you pick. Obviously, theatrically, I guess.
If it would have been done, how do I say it? Like, if it would have been done not in this aspect, like the set, and there's like an actual Dungeon of Doom,
Gilligan's Island.
Like if it would have been like how it was back in the day, where it was just this collection of like crazy ass characters going out for the podium to do an interview or whatever, perfectly fine. But when Hulk Hogan's like blowing up through fucking concrete, bitching about the fucking water,
there's no Hulkamaniacs here.
There's no Hulkamaniacs anywhere right now, bitch. Because nobody wants to be around.
All of a sudden, Mark Lewin just walks in the background. Now that would have been halfway decent, right? You would have popped for that, right, Nate?
Yeah.
Aaron, you would have popped huge if all of a sudden while Kevin Sullivan's out there doing his ridicule, his rhetoric, whatever the hell that is, and then all of a sudden just Mark Lewin just walks in the background. I'll be like, oh shit, we're gonna get somewhere. We don't.
Oh, wrap the show up this week with a YouTube video literally named Dr. David Schultz calls Hulk Hogan a homosexual. So
again? Jesus.
Dave the Redneck Schultz, as the fans call you. You see something like this happen, it's got to be upsetting to you.
It don't upset me at all, baby. Let me tell you, I think it's great. You know what I mean? If you're going to go on the hunt, you got to be able to run with the big boys. If he can't run with the big boys, he should get out. He shouldn't come out here. Last time I was in San Francisco, I went downtown looking for a woman. You know what I mean? I wanted a woman.
Oh, no.
I couldn't find a woman. I found a lot of men that look like women. Now, you, Hulk Hogan, you belong in San Francisco. What's wrong with you, Gene? I'm telling you like it is, baby. You belong in San Francisco. That's your kind of place. That's your kind of people, because you've never had a woman, baby. And now I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you right now.
That he was down in San Francisco parading around as a woman.
Gene,
I'm trying to explain to my wife this.
Gene fucking lost it. Gene couldn't go any further. Dave Schultz broke Gene Okerlund on that one.
Wow. It's amazing why AWA didn't make it. I mean, just if they would know now, then they'd still be on the air. All that crap. These promos. As a matter of fact, go get Bob Sweet Can and go get a bunch of kids. And let's put them on TV. Yeah, why wouldn't we? Let's do all this. Yeah, AWA was getting dangerously close to that territory. That Buddy Rose. I mean, on there, like it's just like, oh my god, whatever. That was ridiculous.
One of my favorite things ever. I always like, what the hell's wrong with you, Gene? Like,
Buddy Rose?
Dave Schultz. I just love him. He's great.
Well, when Dave Schultz was telling the camera crew to take him into his house, like on that WW on TNT,
yeah,
he was young. He was bitching at his kids.
What is this? A city dump?
City dump? Or when he's at the wedding reception for Uncle Elmer or whatever.
Dude, why isn't there more David Schultz stuff? Exactly. All because of that fucking John Stupid guy stuff. He slaps that guy and they erase him from the face of the planet. But like, you go back and watch.
He should have been idolized. They should have like glorified him for doing that.
Here's a theoretical. I'm sorry. Here's a theoretical. Go ahead.
Do you not think Vince hasn't? I bet you deep down inside that Vince is like, Dave Schultz is the greatest guy we've ever employed here. I mean, you know what I mean? But, he has to do what's best for, business, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I know he's got to have a spot in his heart where he's going, that fucking guy, dude.
So, this is just a hypothetical quick question before we sign off for this week. And just talking about that whole John Stossel thing made me think of it. So at the beginning, when they first started the expansion, you watch like TNT or you watch the WWF Superstars or whatever, it was still kind of Wild West with the WWF, and Vince hadn't gone totally, I'm catering this product to children and families. He just knew Hulk Hogan was his guy, but you watch that early stuff like with Orndorff and stuff, and it hasn't got there yet. I'm getting to my point. Dave Schultz doesn't get fired. Do they homogenize him, do you think? Like, do they let him still be that David Schultz? Or if he's still around, does he get – do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, does he get the spin? Does he get the tone down?
No, I mean, at that time period, he would have been part of the cycle, right? I mean, part of the cycle. You got your 5 cities with Hogan, Yeah. You get your run with Hogan on top, and then more than likely he would have been reduced to mid card, lower, intercontinental, even not even intercontinental. Yeah, I guess Tito.
It might have been. It might have been fun to see him and JYD.
Yeah. JYD. He wouldn't have got. He would have still been like. He would have been okay because they didn't tone Piper down till like a long way down the road, and he was with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but Piper never worked.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he was in Piper's little crew, so I think he would have been all right. I think he would have been. He can say what he wants to say because he's in our upper main event. So
what you're saying is basically fucking Orton would have been the guy doing the jobs.
Yeah.
And then Piper and Schultz would have ended up somehow Schultz would have been left laying, Piper would have been left walking, but Orton was the guy doing the job. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we know Roddy ain't doing the job.
No, fuck, he did one job in 42 years. I mean, the British Bulldog is the only person that I've ever known or Bret Hart to ever beat him, ever. Like, how do you pull that off? You know what I mean? Because if I lose to you, then it means I could lose to
Like
Frankie Monet.
It's like, look at my resume. The only two men I ever lost to, 1, 2, 3, were Bret Hart and Jack Briscoe.
Yeah. Ever. That's why you got the brass at the NWA are bringing in like Luthez, like they're bringing in like Cole Gotch. Well, we got some guys here, and they're like 70 at that point.
Billy Robinson.
Oh, Billy Robinson. I ain't fucking around with Billy Robinson at any age. Fuck that, dude. I've seen Billy Robinson. One of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life involved Billy Robinson and the guy that claims he's Mil Mascaras' brother.
Is that
From
Phil?
All Japan.
Phil.
What's his name? Das Karaz?
I thought it was Phil.
Phil? His name
Phil
was
Mascaras.
Huh?
Phil Mascaras.
Bill Mascaras. Bill Mascaras. I don't think it was Phil or Bill Mascaras. Yeah, somebody gave me this tape. Phil Mascaras.
One mask. I got one mask.
Somebody gave me this tape of All Japan, New Japan Classics, and I was watching this match, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? He looks like the jobber from Georgia. Can't think of his name. Tony Rossi, is that his name? That little guy that he's not even big enough to his head hits the top rope when he gets started.
He was a jobber. He was a jobber for Watts too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tony Rosso.
Rick Rossi. Wait, is it Rick Rossi?
Rick Ross?
Rick Ross.
Black man. He's a big black man. I don't think Rick Ross is related to Mil
Rick
Mascaras.
Ross is doing jobs. Yeah, Tony Russo. That's it, Tony Russo. One of my favorite jobbers. I don't even know why I started talking about him. Whatever.
Das Karas or whatever it is.
Das Karas. Tony
or whatever
Russo.
you said his fucking name is. That is Mil Mascaras' brother.
Well, that's what they said.
Yeah,
They've always said that nonsense. But
that's Alberto Del Rio's dad, because Alberto Del Rio is Mil Mascaras' nephew.
now you're confusing me. Who has a bad septic system? What the fuck did you just say?
Alberto Del Rio is Mil
Somebody has terrible fucking plumbing. Alberto's got bad Del Rios, and he's related to who?
Mil Mascaras. His dad's Phil.
And that is it for this week's edition of Reliving the Extreme. I hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. And just to round out the show this week, I wanted to let you know something I alluded to at the beginning of last week's show. It is official. We are now on Patreon, patreon.com/reliving the extreme. There are a couple of different tiers that you can be a part of on Patreon, as little as $5 for the first one. And that will get you not only the unedited audio of the show very shortly after we record it every single week. No edits, everything. I leave everything in. The unedited audio of the show, plus we are going to do bonus episodes of the show, not just talking about ECW. You hear us talk a lot about old school wrestling and territory wrestling here on the show, and we clown on stuff as well. We're going to do some of that on Patreon, some bonus shows of just, maybe just watching crappy wrestling or talking about territory wrestling or what have you, and that will be a part of that first $5 tier. We also will have a $10 tier where not only will you get said audio, but you will also get the video stream of the recording of every show, unedited, exclusively, right after we have recorded it. And then a $15 a month will feature all of that, plus you will get the opportunity to periodically join us as a co-host on the show as part of that tier. So, like I said, check it out, patreon.com/reliving the extreme. It's gonna be a new piece of the show, bonus content for you, the opportunity for you to participate in the show as well. So I'm very excited about that. Again, patreon.com/reliving the extreme. And that being said, we're gonna sign off for this week, and we will see you next week, everybody. Have a great week.